Hey guys, this is the Last Nen User doing my first ever YouTube video. This will be a anime review for the Chimera Ant Arc of Hunter x Hunter. And I just want to say right off the bat, I thought it was pronounced Hunter x Hunter. I didn't know the X was silent until like a week ago. So it's just a bad habit I haven't kicked yet. If that slips out, don't just, fucking burn me at the stake, because it's just a mistake. And yeah, that's that. So just a little introduction about me before I start the anime review of the entire Chimera Ant Arc. And if you haven't seen the show, I don't know what you're doing here. Leave, because there will be spoilers up until episode 136 from the beginning of the show. I might talk about anything. I don't know. So if you haven't seen episode 136, if you're not caught up, because I'm making this video right after episode 136 aired, and that was the final episode of the Chimera Ant Arc, do not watch this video. So. And a disclaimer, I have read the manga, and I will be doing Hunter x Hunter manga reviews starting from chapter 340 in the near future. And I might do Akame ga Kill anime manga reviews. Maybe. And if there's something else if anyone watches this fucking video, and if there's something you guys want me to review, maybe, if I feel like it. I don't know. Who knows? Can't hurt to try, right? So, that aside, I have read the manga of Hunter x Hunter, but I only read it after episode 135, because I fucking couldn't wait anymore. That was the best shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, forget anime, any fucking medium. And if you see right there, there's a Game of Thrones map, which is my second favorite series, and objectively, Game of Thrones is way more depth than Hunter x Hunter, but I like Hunter x Hunter more. So, before I get flamed by all the Game of Thrones fans, that's just an opinion. I know it's not, yeah. Anyways, that fucking episode. I've never cried before for an anime, and I've seen like 100, read like 30 mangas, but I've never cried before for any of them, and I was crying my eyes out at episode 135, let me tell you. But anyway, so I read the manga after episode 135, but I hadn't read it before that, right? So I started the show, I caught up in like 2 days, I loved it so fucking much, my favorite show. And I caught up like halfway through the Greed Island arc-ish, like right before the dodgeball fight, right? Like mid-60s, I think. And so I've been watching week by week, patiently, no manga spoilers, until I read the manga after 135. But, I didn't get spoiled. All I knew, some guy on some forum said like, ooh, the Chimera Ant Arc, get ready for a long one. So I knew it was gonna be a long arc, but like, that's fucking, okay, so it's a long arc, great. I didn't know it was gonna be double the fucking length of any other arc. That's what it is. I don't even know, but I didn't know fucking how long. I just knew it was gonna be long, right? So, this is basically how I looked at it from an anime-only watcher, because I was, until like the second, I watched one episode. The 136 was the only one I had prior knowledge of, because I read the manga after 155. So, it's a pretty legit, I think you would agree, anime-only review, right? So, I'll just hop into it right now. I think I've gotten all the disclaimer spoiler shit out of the way. Oh, fuck, okay. My channel, the little art at the top, the channel art, I don't know, that's what Google calls it. I've seen some shit in this community, so I just want to fucking, first video, I don't want no damn scandal down the road, so I just fucking screenshotted two frames from some episodes, and I just put them up. So if anyone's starting drama with me, it's Togashi and Madhouse, and I can accept that, and they can tell me to back off, and I will, so. Yeah, and, I don't think this channel's ever gonna be big enough for that kind of thing anyways. But, okay, so now forget all that shit. Into the goddamn review. So, when I started this arc, and episode 77 or something, I don't exactly remember. But, it immediately struck out to me as the best arc I had ever fucking seen, right? Because Hunter x Hunter is by no means a kid's show, right? You have during the Phantom Truth arc, a bunch of people get, massacred by the guy, Franklin, I think, with his Nen bullets, some dark shit happens, but, I feel like the Chimera Ant Arc, reached a new plateau of fucked up in general. And I think the moment it really hit me that, whoa, this arc's shit's going down for real is when, Ponzu, I think that's her name, with the bees, who Leorio had to get his tag from in the 4th phase of the Hunter exam, way back in the day. When she got eaten, I was First of all, I was not expecting anything like that to happen. So when that happened, I was affected for like days. Like, not in the sense I wasn't like mopey, like, oh my god, Ponzu, no. But I was like, man, like, I can't believe they fucking did that. Like, what the fuck? I was just blown away. I didn't even know what to think. I still don't know what to think about how I thought. I don't even know, man. I don't even, whatever. That doesn't matter. What does matter is it was my fucking favorite arc by far. And when my opinion began to change was right when the invasion started. I shouldn't say right when the invasion started, because episode 111 is still one of my favorites of the arc. I hadn't seen Netero for so fucking long, and you probably know I fucking love Netero. Easily top 2 characters of the series for me. So yeah, I fucking love Netero, and when he showed up with Zeno, no less, who I hadn't seen in God knows how long, I was over the moon with hype. But once that sort of rolled in, the pacing, I mean, this is my favorite arc of all time. At the end of the day, this is my favorite arc of all time. But the pacing, once the invasion started, and even I guess a little before that, but I was okay with it before that, because I expected the pacing to be slow before the invasion. I did not expect the pacing to be slow after the invasion, and it was. It really fucking, and I don't take that, I thought that at the time, I don't take it back now. I think there's easily, 5 episodes you could find, like, not like whole episodes, but like, you could cut some scenes here and there to make up skim off 5 episodes from this arc, and I don't think the story, obviously if you skim the right things, like don't fucking skim, Netero versus Miriam or some shit, but if you skim the right things, it would have been, I don't think the story would have suffered tremendously, at all. But that's just my opinion. People might disagree. Like, I'm not a big fan of Octobro. I mean, I get it. I get why he's in the story. It's cool, nice. Killua's new friend, awesome. It's just, I didn't need it, right? And I think it, and this comes back to actually, I'll say why I feel like I didn't need it, because I came into this arc with some preconceptions about shonen, right? I've seen like 100 anime in my life. I only started watching anime like 2 years ago, less than 2 years, maybe just around 2 years ago now. And I've read like 30 manga, and most of them are like, anime had a shitty ending, so I had to go read the manga, that bullshit. And I came to expect some things. Like, when they laid out their plan right before the invasion, they're like, okay, Shoot and Knuckle, you guys are in Yuppie, Moral and Nove, fucking Nove, the guy's the biggest fucking joke, sorry. Moral and Nove, you guys are on Poof, and Gon and Killua, you guys are on Pito, and Neto versus the King, right? And I knew the one thing I had been spoiled is that this arc was fucking long. So as soon as, the arc had been long already, but I expected it to go like, at that point I was like, okay, this one, I don't know, 1,000,000 episodes, who fucking knows? So, when I heard those plans, and I've seen like 20 shonen or something, like this kind of shonen. I know shonen's a very, but like, you know what I mean, like Naruto, like that kind of shit. And, I expected, I was like, okay, like maybe 5 episodes in this fight, 5 episodes in this fight, 5, and then that's how, I thought it was going to play out that way, and when it became very clear that this is not how it was going to happen, that if any fights were happening, they were going to be one episode, they were going to be fucking epic, but they were going to be one episode, I was a little disappointed. I felt like the ratio of bad episode to good episode was worse than it had been in every arc, in any other arc, mostly because I love every arc except for the Killua family arc, which I won't even acknowledge its existence. So yeah, I love like every arc, and so this one had the worst ratio, right? But it also had the best episodes, like 126, 131, even though that's my least favorite of the 3, and 135, which is my favorite episode ever. 3 of the fucking best the 3 best episodes I've ever seen in anime, all in one arc, in one show. I'm not like the biggest expert on anime in the world, obviously, but I fucking loved it. But the pacing, it was really bad, and so that's enough about the pacing. It was bad. I didn't like it, but that was my main gripe with the arc that I won't go back on. I won't go fucking back on that. But, and the rest of this video is basically to be Hunter x Hunter fanboying. So that, I just got what I didn't like out of the way. What I didn't, I didn't like this at first, but I ended up loving it, was, and I'll talk about how my opinion changed, because my opinion changed. I loved it at the beginning, then at the invasion I started to not like it, and then at the end, best shit I've ever seen. But I'll get to that probably near the end of the video. So I'll get back to why, because I was talking about how I expected all these fights to happen over the course of multiple episodes, and then it didn't, and I was disappointed about it. I'm not disappointed about it at all anymore, but I'll get to that later. I know I'm saying I get a lot of shit later, but I will. Trust me, and if I don't, I'll fucking restart this video and do it right next time. The narrator. Biggest 180. For me, personally. At the beginning, I was like, can we just, like, not have all this narration? Because I thought it was a little too much fucking narration. I did. But the more I thought about it, the more it made sense, even in that amount. Because there are certain things, one, that it just won't make sense for the characters to be explaining every little fucking thing that's going on. Especially if they don't know what's going on, and only, like, an omniscient narrator would. There's that. And there's also just... I feel like the voice actor really did it for me. Like, during the Netero-Miriam fight, when he was, like, with a merciless roar, and Netero fucking... I don't even know how to make the pose, but he flips off the king, and... The narrator, like, to me, was, like, part of... Obviously, Netero stole the show, but the narrator was doing his best. And it showed. So, the narrator, maybe it was an improvement on the voice actor. Maybe it was how I realized how it was actually... I feel like my gripes with the narrator mostly were, like, tied to my pacing thing. Because I was like, man, like, this narrator's talking, but, like, I could be having Gon vs. Peter right now. I was so fucking wrong. And, like, this is... I'm telling you my thoughts, like, what I thought at the beginning, just so I can tell you how fucking wrong I was at the end. How fucking stupid I felt. Oh, God. Okay. So now, moving towards, like, the end of the arc. This is, like, let's say a little bit after the Gon pedo fight. So I'm pissed. Well, I'm not pissed. I was like, whoa, this is one of the greatest fights ever. I thought the Netero-Miriam one was better. But I was thinking, why didn't we, like, really get these long, drawn-out shonen fights that I've come to expect? And I don't know why I wanted that so badly. I really don't, because in hindsight, why the fuck would I want that? It seems so dumb to me now, but I won't deny that at the time, there's nothing I wanted more. But after and now I'm going into 135, so here it comes. Once I saw 135, it was the same as when Welfin fucking said Komugi in 134, and then it all made sense to Miriam in a single moment. He knew what he had to do. He had to go to Komugi. He had to spend his last. He knew, and that's exactly what happened to me. I had a Welfin moment. Let's put it that way. I had a fucking Welfin moment after episode 135. I used all my fucking brain cells, every single one, and I realized, man, this is the best shit I've ever seen. Because who would have thought if I'd been spoiled, if somebody had said, oh yeah, at the end of the Chimera Ant Arc, the main villain, who's like the most powerful guy we've ever fucking seen, dies while playing chess with a blind girl, I would have been like, are you retarded? Is that the best you could do? Like, I wouldn't have bought. I actually think I would not have believed it. I wouldn't even have bothered to check that the guy was wrong, because I was so sure he would have been wrong, right? Because that doesn't happen. Initially, before I heard the plan, I was like, okay, Gon's taking out Miriam, and I thought Gon was taking out P2, but I was like, yeah, but like, Netero's just gonna pwn Miriam, and I was so wrong about how I thought and I guess Netero kind of did, but I was so wrong about how I thought it was gonna happen, how the arc would end. Miriam is my favorite character in Hunter x Hunter. Well, he's not, but I won't talk about who my favorite character actually is, because he hasn't appeared in the anime yet, and I don't want to say any kind of spoilers, but I guess a little hint, so anyone who's read the manga will know what I'm talking about. He's a very jovial character, likes to wear a suit, generally is in charge of meetings. You get it. So Miriam, when he started, like, and how did Togashi do this? When he started, he was, like, fucking murdering children, and by the end, I'm crying for him. Like, what the fuck? I don't even understand. I don't. And it's just how he can make me feel, like, I feel like I've been manipulated, I don't even know. But I cried a lot, pretty much a lot, throughout most of the second half of 135, and I realized, like, Togashi is the master of giving you what you don't expect. Because in the Phantom Troop arc, I expected the exact same thing. I'm like, so what, is Kurapika gonna have, like, 12, like, one-on-one fights? Is he gonna fight them all at once? I thought, like, I was sure the arc was gonna end with all the Phantom Troop being dead. But no, what do we get? Like, 2 of them die, the rest scatter. It's like, what you expect just isn't what's gonna happen. And that's half the joy, is just you really can't predict Hunter x Hunter. Fuck, I probably said Hunter x Hunter like 4 times in this video now. Please don't fucking kick my ass. I promise I'll get better. In Hunter x Hunter, oh god. Okay, no. Okay. Can't think about that. So yeah, after episode 135, I realized, why did I want all this generic shonen stuff? If I want generic shonen, I can watch generic shonen. There's no lack of it on the internet. There's no lack. So, or on the internet, I mean, in anime. I don't know what, yeah, in anime. And it's beautiful how he managed to how he changed me, like, as an anime viewer. I realized, I'm like I said, the Welfin moment, why did I want these things when clearly an unconventional method of storytelling had a much greater effect on my emotions, had me crying, and it was the perfect, I thought that was the ending of the arc, by the way. Like, that's why I read the manga. I was sure that was the last episode of the arc, but then it turned out it wasn't. But, like, episode 136 is more of a wrap-up episode with a really cool last minute, but I won't even talk about that in this video, because that has nothing to do with the Chimera Ant Arc. So I guess, just to wrap it up, I had preconceptions about what I thought was going to happen. I was initially very upset and disappointed when they weren't met. But once episode 135 happened, and I had my Welfin moment, and all my brain cells started thinking about why it was such a great thing, I realized that, like, I don't want to say, like subversion of the shonen trope, like, but it kind of was, right? Like, I don't know, that's so fucking cliche to say, but it kind of was. And I think that, and maybe I knew all along that Togashi, like, I did know all along that Togashi never gives it, but I thought, because Greed Island, right, which was the arc right before this one, that gave me exactly what I expected, like, all of the time. Genthru, Gentru's the shittiest villain of the series, like, let's get real here. Who the fuck gives a shit about Genthru? Like, compare Genthru to Miriam, or Miriam's like an antagonist, he's not a villain, right? And that's what a great villain is, when you can't feel comfortable just labeling them a villain, right? I don't feel comfortable labeling Miriam a villain. I don't feel comfortable labeling Hisoka a villain. And it's characters like that, and those are obviously two of the best characters of the series, right? I think almost everyone can agree on that. It's shit like that that really puts this a step above other anime, because other anime, sure, like, your protagonists are awesome. Well, actually, that's usually not the case, but there's awesome abilities, there's awesome fights, but the bad guys are usually just fucking scumbags, and you just want them to get their ass kicked, and then they get their ass kicked, maybe they kill one of the side characters before they do, but there's a formula, and it's followed within certain parameters. And that's just how it usually goes, but not in Hunter x Hunter, and that's why I fucking loved this arc. This video is already 18 fucking minutes. I thought, I had this little list beside me of shit I wanted to talk about. I wanted to go in detail the Neferpito Gon fight and the Netero King fight, but okay, fuck it, whatever. Who gives a shit? You can stop the fucking video anytime you like. So if this is all you want to see, peace. No hard feelings. So the Gon Neferpito fight. Now, this was, it basically was the closest in this arc to, your typical shonen. You got your power-up in the face of adversity. Character who is way disfavored before the fight. Suddenly, the bad guy doesn't even have a fucking chance in hell. You've seen it before, but it feels so different, because the execution was so different. And, I'm gonna compare this to Dragon Ball Z, right? Remember when Dragon Ball Z spoilers, remember when Frieza killed Krillin, right? And then Goku just, if you look at it objectively, Goku just watched his best friend die, get fucking brutally murdered right in front of his face. And then he went Super Saiyan. Boy, that didn't feel half as powerful as Gon, and you think that his would be more powerful than someone whose friend died, or I guess, he died saving Gon, so obviously it's important. But, that was, God knows how many episodes ago, right? And then episode 85, I think? And then in episode 131 is when shit finally, hits the fan from that whole conflict. And it feels so much you feel it more. With Goku, yeah, he was pissed, but, then 5 episodes later, he's Frieza, make it off the planet, and then, I believe in you still a little bit. But no, Gon he takes Pito, he fucking curb stomps her face and shit. Well, not curb stomp, he punches her right in the face with his Super Saiyan hair, and she gets fucking wrecked. And it's brilliant. And So even when he does give you, like, your typical show, it's done differently, or it's done with a twist. And especially how, like, I will say this because this was still in the command, and apparently, well, not apparently, I know this because I've read the manga, but Gon right now is in critical condition. So clearly, no matter what happens in the future, there has been serious repercussions to, it's not just like Goku turns Super Saiyan and then 5 seconds later he's like chilling, you know, with Gohan or something. Like, no, there's fallout here. It's not, this power-up did not come cheap. So, and that's what's so great about it, right? Because power-ups really do come cheap. In a lot of shonen, very conveniently when they're most needed. So that's what I loved about the Gon Pido fight. Other than that, there's not, the sound, I will say the soundtrack in that episode was the best I've ever heard in the show. I liked it more, even though I liked the other fight more. I liked the soundtrack in this fight way more than the soundtrack in the Netero Miriam fight. I don't even know, I don't know what it was. When Gon was initially powering up, that was like the most hype. That was the most hype-inducing moment ever in the show for me. 100%. 100% the most hype-inducing moment. And that music, what was it? Like tribal, I don't even know. That was some tribal shit, and it was fantastic. So, enough about that fight. Miriam and Netero, which was just, I don't even know if anything ever, like, in an anime fight manages to top that, I fucking tip of the fedora and the neckbeard to you, my good sir, because, it shouldn't be possible, because Netero, who's my main man, you almost know he has no chance from the start, right? And I personally was like, I know Netero's been powering up for 20 episodes, and remember, I hadn't read the manga at this point, so I had no idea what was gonna happen. I only knew after episode 135, just in case people forgot. So I didn't know what was gonna happen, and I was like, Netero's gonna get wrecked. This isn't even gonna be close. But then he comes up, fucking praise man, and starts beating the shit out of the king, but then the king's taking no damage. And if you think about it, the fight was a very simple fight. It's just Netero doing his moves, the king is trying to pierce through the defenses, eventually he does, limbs are lost, Rose is resorted to, place goes boom. Right? But the execution of that fight, and this the same way with the Gon and Pido fight, it's a step above, and like the shit Netero says to Miriam, right? Miriam's lines were okay in that episode, they won't stick with me for years, like Netero's fucking lines will, right? And I looked it up, Netero's translation, like the infinite potential for evolution. It's like, if I have this correctly, and maybe somebody will, if anyone watches this, they will correct me. I think it's that it can either mean evolution or malice, what he said, and neither is incorrect. Like, both work, I think. I have no idea how, but both work. Japanese language is a beautiful thing. And, so when he said that line, right, and I found out the alternate meaning too, just in like some random discussion thread, I was like, damn, man, like this whole arc, we thought the ants were the bad guys, but it's these fucking humans who will fucking mercilessly nuke you and poison a blind girl. Obviously they didn't know, but like without it fucking, they don't give one shit. And I was like, man, that's powerful, right? Because like we see these ants who are like eating children's brains, but at the end of the day, we're forced to admit, like, these hunters are way more fucking evil than these fucking ants. So just to make me just like look at it objectively from a bird's eye view, even though I'm a human, so obviously I was taking the human side of things, but like when I thought about it after the rose, I was like, these ants, it doesn't matter how powerful they were, they never had a fucking chance. They were just gonna get nuked. So, and that's another, right when the episode ended, because I was going crazy, man. I watched it with my brother, we were both going crazy. But, I was like, do I like this? Do I like that the king, because first of all, I thought the king had just been blown to smithereens. I was like, no way he's coming back. And I like how he came, because obviously you wouldn't have had episode 135 if he didn't. So, I love that part. But I was like, no way we knew his name by then. No way Miriam's surviving. No fucking way. And I was wondering how I felt about the fact that he'd been killed by a bomb, right? But I was like, I thought about it for a while. And right then I was like, man, that's amazing, because it shows that humanity doesn't have to rely on things like their brute strength, because we've evolved, and this where the malice one I really like, because we have so much hatred in us that we will fucking kill you and every ant that's ever fucking lived just because we're spiteful little assholes. That part I love. But I also love, like, it doesn't matter how strong you get, because there's so many of us, and with our minds, we will always be able to defeat you by making awesome bombs with fucking poison inside them. So, everything in this arc, the themes are so deep. Like, I haven't gone too deep into the themes, but the themes are so fucking deep. Like, the cost of revenge is fucking steep, like it never is in most other shows. Well, I shouldn't say that. In a lot of other shows, the cost of revenge is not significantly steep, or doesn't cost a lot. Whatever. Maybe that sentence didn't make much sense, but so yeah, revenge, and then oh man, and then just that love has no boundaries. It doesn't matter if you're an all-powerful, nearly godlike being or a blind girl. People are people, even if they're ants. And Palm proved that. And I just love how the humanity from all these characters, the humanity. And the ants had the most humanity. That's the messed up part. Like, even, well, Yuppie not so much, but there was no humanity. We were told that Yuppie was only a magical beast. So there was no humanity in Yuppie to begin with, right? So there's that. Yuppie, we saw her, I keep on getting these royal guards names confused. Pito, we saw her, like, defending Komugi like a mother cat, right? Like, we saw that human side of her. Miriam, like, we all know how he was the most human character of the series by the time he died. And that last frame, and this is where I'll end the video, that last frame, man, is the feels went through the roof, and rip Netero, rip Komugi, rip Miriam, best arc of all fucking time. And, yeah, that's it.